Pretty Petty Tuesday, baby. I know you feel like it's in the history books, but in many ways you're still here. All right, Urban Therapy with Sun 752. And this your daily. It's the daily go-get-amism show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, taking off fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We talking about how much access should your kids get tonight? How much access should your children have to a lot of things? Now, when we say access, we're talking about being able to do something, to have something, to get somewhere, to be able to connect with something. You know, we talk about access. So tonight we're going to talk about everything from stuff that we've talked about before, like having their own keys to the house, to when is the appropriate time to address certain things, adult things, maturity issues, liberty giving issues that you might have to deal with your children. We're going to talk about all that tonight. So let's get it popping, man. Yo, I'm your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the and if you can't say Omar with the well, then you just say Omar with the R. My voice is still a little hoarse. My voice is still a little hoarse because the Eagles did their thing. Yeah, of course. Sunday they did their thing. Yeah, of course. And so that's what we're dealing with. But you know, I pushed through it last night and I'll push through it again. I don't actually feel bad, but my voice might not sound like it regularly does. So it might be a little raspy. I don't know what people consider my voice to be like, when it's regular, but when I talk, I can feel a little bit of that. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of not like a cat hissing, but almost like a record, a record that's been played a few times. You hear that little crackle. But it's going to be all right. So tonight on the Daily Go-Get-Amism show, you know what I haven't done in a while? Yo, we do this every single day. Every day it rains. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. We break it down, baby. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. Every day it rains and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains and the DG will do the same. So check it out. I just thought about something, and I kind of thought about it before, but it's definitely on my mind right now in real time. So as we're talking about the things that we time when it comes to raising our children, from the time that we teach them how to walk to the time when we teach them, when we potty train our children, like all the way to when we teach them how to maybe ride the bus or the train by themselves, hang out with their friends, allow them to spend the night over their friends' houses or things like that, or drive the car, giving up the keys to the car. I don't see how you can be stingy with the keys to the house if you're giving up the keys to the car. Like, so let me get this straight. Your teenager has a set of car keys to your car, or anytime they ask to borrow the car, you hand over the keys if you don't have anything else to do. Okay. Well, some parents agree with that. Some parents don't agree. But where they may differ, even if they do agree, is exactly what time it is to do that. What time it is in your children's lives to do that. So we can talk about all of these things, dating, when to find out who your child is for real on the inside. Because, nowadays when you're dealing with children, it's not like it was when we were growing up. When I was growing up, we were always out the gate determined whether we were straight, determined to be straight mostly. Like if you were gay or bi-curious or something like that, people might have suspected it, but unless you came right out and said it, nobody could really pin that label on you. It was kind of taboo. It was very taboo-ish. But nowadays, you have to have those conversations with your children. You need to find out who they are. Because as we have seen, those things can take a real negative toll on their physical and their mental and emotional health, and not really their physical health. Well, if your mind is messed up, that can take a toll on your body. So it's not totally out of the realm of possibility or discussion. But anyway, so you have to have these conversations with your kids. And if you don't have these conversations with your kids can get away with you. Get away from you. But it's really on you, mom. It's really on you, dad. Like, what are you going to do? What do you want to see with your kids as far as their development is concerned? What do you want to see as far as their development is concerned? And what's your timeline for allowing them to grow, mature, gain independence? What is your children gaining independence mean to you, if it means anything? So we're going to get into all of that. So I'm going to put this hardware away. That's what I'm going to do. So here I am, getting rid of hardware. That's what I'm doing. Oh, damn. Almost forgot the spot that I normally put it in. I was like, wait a minute. Why does that area look empty? Why does that area look empty? Please, as y'all come in here, and I see we coming in here slow. Y'all know I got algorithm problems. YouTube they not letting me shine. After the Charlie Kirk thing, they not letting they not doing it, man. They not doing it. I'll probably be on restriction for maybe a couple of months. They might bang me for most of the fall. They might bang me for most of the fall or whatever, but I'm gonna work through it. And I hope that y'all help me out. And you can help me out by pushing that like button. Please hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. But you ain't got to do all that. Just throw me a like. Give me that thumbs up. Let's get the thumbs up. Get the thumbs up. And we'll take it from there. Get the thumbs up and we will take it from there. So I'm ready. If you're ready, and I hope that we be ready together so we can go ahead and have this conversation. Oh, hold on. Let me fix something over here. Well, what was that noise? Let me fix something over here where it says how much access. Okay, there you go. How much access should your kids have? Now that I think about it, I probably could have made that title a little bit more easier to understand. But if you watch the show, then I'll have a chance to explain it, right? So let's get into that part. What up, my man Jeff Sprayberry? What's good? How you feeling, my dude? It's always a good thing to see you. Always. And T Carry right morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. I appreciate me some you. I appreciate all that y'all do. I appreciate you coming by. Yo, stay for a while. All right, let's go. So, how much access should your children have? What we're really talking about tonight is, what are the times what is the right times to have certain conversation with your kids, and what is the right times to, sort of push them, or let them fly free, or when it comes to parenting. When it comes to parenting, everybody has a different parenting style, and many of those styles, many of the parenting styles that we have gotten from our own parents, and that's whether we like the way that our parents raised us or not. But that's where we normally get our cues from. So when we talk about how much access should our kids have, of course, that's going to differ from parent to parent, from household to household. And the word discretion comes to my mind. The word discretion comes to my mind. Like, how much, like, what is your plan of action when it comes to raising your kids? And I think that that's something that you have to think about no matter how young your children are. I don't care if they're newborns. I don't care if they're 2 or 3 years old. That's something that we need to start taking into consideration at a very young age, because, first of all, we don't want to turn our kids into little rebels. And we definitely don't want to get to the point where we're turning our children against us. Now, of course, as egotistical parents, we're going to say, you'll need me before I need you. And that's true. But you did procreate the cats. You did decide to give birth to these beings who are who dress and talk so strangely. The job of a parent is hardly ever done, and it's hardly ever appreciated at the level that it probably should be. But that's just something we got to deal with. That's something we got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, let's get into this thing. All right. So as I go through these questions that we're going to talk about tonight, I'm thinking that we probably should ask ourselves or try to remember the questions that I'm asking, as it pertains to ourselves. So if I ask, well, what's the right age? What's the appropriate age or the acceptable age to allow your children to date? What's the acceptable age to allow your children to date? I expect to get a lot of different answers when it comes to that, because taking the maturity of the child into consideration, the responsibility of the children. If your child is a responsible child or not. My man Jay Sloan said about 35. Well, damn. Can they live? That's probably what they think. Like, Dad, can I live? You might be joking and you might not be. But even if you're joking about a very serious thing that every parent has to deal with. You know what I mean? When I was growing up, for example, I always had little girlfriends from the time I was in like nursery school. Get set is what they called it. Get set is what they called it. So I always had little girlfriends or whatever. They was always pairing me up with some little chick. Like I was powerless. There was nothing I can do. I knew, but anyway. So my mom never had a lot of restrictions on like company, whether it was girl company or boy company or whatever. We were allowed to have friends over the crib. Not every parent rolls like that. I had friends whose houses we could not go over. They could come over our houses for a certain amount of time, and then they had to go home and be home at a certain time. But we couldn't go over their house. We knew their parents, But how you had some friends whose parents you knew so well that if you were around during dinner time, then you were sitting down to dinner with them. Like, all right, call your mom and ask her if it's okay if you can stay over here to eat over here. That's how it was. I don't even know if we get into that anymore. No real shit. I don't know if it goes down like that anymore. It wouldn't surprise me if it did, but actually it would. In the manner that I'm talking about, because a lot of families had a specific dinner time, somewhere in the 6 o'clock hour, probably, you know what I mean? Between 6 and 8, something like that. After parents are already home from work, kids are home from school, homework is done, things like that. So, having friends over was it had to be an accepted thing. You know what I mean? Like if you had strict parents, or if you had parents who were disciplinary, even if they weren't strict, but it was like, no, you can't have no kids. I mean, you can't have no company over the house until you come home, do your homework, do your chores or whatever. So it might not be the doors to your crib might not be open until around 6, 7 o'clock, around dinner time. Or maybe you could have friends early, Maybe you ain't do no homework. Ain't like all kids did. But you understand what I'm saying. All right. Jess Rayberry says, all right. I feel like I'm a baseball game now. I'm at a baseball game now. How come? All right, Seika Sala. My man Seika Sala says 16. They're doing it anyway. You're right. But are they all doing it? Because there are always teenagers who follow the rules, or teenagers that are a little bit slower on the social side, or on the romantic dating or social side. All kids, don't break out of their shell at the same time. Many don't. There are many kids who take a while to fit into that whole dating or hanging out with friends, being more social, getting into things, being more visible, participating in things. And not every child does it the same way. But here's the thing, because our children have access to cell phones, the way that we restrict our children probably have a lot to do with that device. Because if they still have access to that device, more than likely, all of those things that you are delaying for them to learn or experience are probably going to fall by the wayside, because they can already have access to that. You know what I mean? We couldn't just go on Pornhub when I was a kid. You know what I mean? We had to find some dirty magazines or tapes somewhere. It was different. But 16, I think that's a reasonable age. It is. I think it's a reasonable age. And mainly because of the expectations that you probably have for your kids up until that time. You probably handle your business from the time that they were born up until 15, 16 years old. So you figure that they should be ready to go. But every parent doesn't roll that way. Jason says, yeah, that was definitely a part of growing up for us. Some kids' parents don't want nobody hanging out in their house. You know it. Some parents wasn't having it. Some parents was not having it. You'd be lucky to get a fruit roll up at the crib. And we don't feed other kids in this house. Matter of fact, what you doing in the house? How you get in the house? Well, I came in with your son. Huh? Yeah. Hit the like button, y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Hit the like button. Participate in the poll question too, please. Get into the poll question. All right. Shirley Shirl, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. Shirley Shirl, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. So, as we know, there are plenty of strict parents still, and I don't know if they can match the level of strictness, strictity. I don't know if they can match the level of strictity of the parents when we were growing up. Depending on your neighborhood, this is a demographics thing. Depending on your neighborhood, there's a good chance that there were 2-parent families around. And 2-parent households are a little different. At least they were when I was growing up. Because when I was growing up, in a 2-parent household, rules were kind of followed a little bit more. Because parents that didn't get along that well, they were often on the same page about you and what you should be able to do or not. Of course, not all the time, not 100%. We're not batting 1,000 over here, but you knew if there was a father in the house, you was gonna have to respect that crib. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different, but yeah. So, what are y'all general thoughts? All right, I asked a little bit earlier for people who are just coming through ever so slowly. What do y'all think is the appropriate time for you to allow your children to date? Jason says age 35. Seika Sala says 16. What do y'all think? What's the general consensus? When should your children be able to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Now, I recognize that it might be different for a lot of y'all when it comes to the to gender. Like maybe for boys, you might say about 12, 13. As soon as they stop playing with little army men and action figures and shit. But for girls, you might have a different answer. Like, wait a minute. My baby girl ain't dating until she's 18. She gonna have to sneak and date when she go away to college. Matter of fact, I'm sitting there on her prime with her cousin. Her older cousin at that. Nobody having fun. And absolutely no extracurricular fun. My man Simon says, my peoples, what's good? You said Dr. Umar school setting complete yet? I haven't heard any noise about Dr. Umar school in a while. Haven't heard of it. What's the appropriate age to send your kids to FDMG Academy? Since we talk about it. What is the right age to send your kids to FDMG? Hit the Cash App. Hit the PayPal. Hit the Venmo. Hit the. Hit the Cash App. Hit the PayPal. Donate to FDMG. Okay, anyway. TK Wright says 17. 17. Wow. 17. Now, for those of y'all who gave an answer, did y'all live that? Did y'all live that experience? What up, Malu? Good to see you. Haven't seen you around here in a short little long while. Good to see you. Absolutely is good to see you once again, all the time. And if you have children, Malu, please answer the question. The question on the table right now is what do you think is the appropriate age to let your children start dating? And we probably have to talk a little bit about what dating means. Because there seems to be a big difference between what adults say dating is and what they allow their children to call dating, or what they think is acceptable, allowable for their children to do. So what does dating mean to you in terms of what your children will be doing? When you say, all right, at this age, I think it's okay for my children to date. What does dating mean to you? Being on the phone all the time, going to the movies, places, going out with each other. Because when it comes to dating, one thing that you have to take into consideration, even on the Cosby Show, even though they never talked about it, you have to consider that when your kids are dating, eventually they're going to find a way to start fucking. So what does dating mean? What does it mean in terms of what your expectations are for them? And what are your expectations for you, for yourself? What's acceptable? Have you really thought this thing through? Like, wait a minute. Dating? So wait. Yeah, what does this dating thing really mean? You might want to think about it for a minute. Take your time. Take your time. Seika Sala says, I remember my mom and my dad meeting her parents, and my first date was at a local Dairy Queen. It was awkward. They were talking about the Clinton scandal at the time. Wow. 1990, that was around 1998. Yeah, it was around 1998. Okay. Malu says, I talk to my kids openly because the society often is out of hand. Facts. So Gasala says, the Oreo blizzards came out and it was a big deal. I like it. I like it. Malu says, I'm like dating can happen after graduation. I mean, hey, you won't be the first one to look at it that way. I ain't even mad at it. Malu says, when they have a foundation and a strong emotional self-awareness. Okay, so maybe I started at the top, and maybe I should have went in the middle. Maybe I should have went down a little bit lower, because dating might be at the top of the food chain as far as allowances are concerned. Dating might be at the top of the food chain as far as allowances are concerned. Let me scale it back a little bit. Let's see. Let's take it back to an earlier time, because we already up here with graduation for some of y'all. Some of y'all already 35. By the time y'all get permission to date, y'all gonna have to be sneaking around all through your 20s and half of your 30s. Let's start here, because I think that you start to feed or point your children on the road to independence by the time that you start potty training them. Think about it as as infants and toddlers, potty training and weaning them off the titty, breastfeeding. Okay, for those of you who breastfed, what is the time to take your children off the titty? This is actually causes a lot of controversy with a lot of people. So let's go there. Let's go with potty training and breastfeeding. What age do you start potty training your children? Or let me ask a better question. What age should they all be potty trained? No exceptions. I'll start out 2. Now, and I mean finish by 2. Like you not making, listen, man, I do not fuck around when it comes to no potty training. So my baby was fully potty trained by 2 years old. Now I've seen children that weren't potty, that which parents waited till they were 3. I've known some that waited till they were 4. And I'm like, but hey, we listen and don't judge. We listen and don't judge. What's up, Marvina? What's good? Good to see me some you. What age do you potty train your children? Let me see. Okay, Marvina says, my daughter dated and married the boy next door, and I hated it. Wow, the boy next door. Wow. And Malu says, when they have teeth for meat, that's when they should get off of the titty. Or should I say breastfeeding? Okay. Well, them teeth are coming in at, for some, 1 year old. But you said teeth for meat. So they have to have a good amount of choppers. So yeah, shoot, they might be breastfeeding all the way until they like 4. Like that boy is not breastfeeding at that age. This is foreplay. Okay. All right. Marvina says potty trained at 2. Done. Okay. Malu says when they start walking, they should start the potty train. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Shirley Cheryl says once they start biting the nipple, by potty train by 1.5. Said you getting them. You gonna stop paying for them Pampers early. The diaper bill that ain't the move. One and a half by your second birthday, we in draws. You better speak up when it's time for you to go to the bathroom. You gotta go to the bathroom? Huh? What up, Hina? What's good? How you feeling? Thanks for coming through. I appreciate you. Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. But yeah. Now, if y'all notice the poll question, the poll question deals with how long people put off doing some of these things. Just keep that in mind. The poll question is, what do parents try to put off the longest when it comes to their kids? So far we only have 10 votes. So we'll get into that more. But please participate in the poll as well. I'd appreciate it. Okay. So, all right, we taking it all the way back. And we taking it all the way back to breastfeeding and potty training. So we have some, we're pretty much, I think most of us who answered the question are pretty much in agreement or whatever. You know, it's funny how I didn't hear any of the men in the chat, you know, talk about when it's time to potty train. Let me find out I was the only one that listen, I was like, my baby, yo, we gonna get this together. We gonna get this together. That is not a mother's, that's not just a mother's job or a custodial parent's job. It takes a village to make sure that the bed don't get pissy or the floor. It takes a village. All right, Malu, thanks for coming through. I appreciate you. Hina's out. Okay. Okay. Oh, Malu says, sorry, I'm back. I thought work called me. I hear that. I hear that. Hina left? Did she say bye? Why y'all saying bye, Hina? See you later, Hina. Okay. Jason says, don't blame the rest of us because we figured out how to get out of that literal shit. Hey, man. Hey, look. I get it, but I get it. It is a dirty job, but here's the thing. Would you rather go ahead and teach your kids how to potty train, or do you want to keep changing diapers? This is a no-brainer to me. This is a no-brainer. For real. No-brainer. I do not. I repeat, I do not be wanting to just keep changing no damn diapers. I'd rather be like, yo, I'm gonna hold the door open and make sure that you good while you in there. Go ahead, shorty. You know what I mean? If I gotta go in there because you can't reach the toilet, then I gotta bring you to the men's bathroom. I used to have to just take my baby to the men's bathroom. You know, when she got old enough to have to use the girls' bathroom, because a lot of times it was just me and her. So, you know, if it's just daddy and daughter, you know, I gotta make sure that she good when she go in a public bathroom. We used to do a lot of activities together, so you know. But yeah, that potty training shit is real. Man, that the boy 4 years old. He damn near starting first grade with a pull up. What's wrong with this boy? You sure he ready to start school? You got developmental problems? Why the seat of his pants so puffy? Why the seat of his pants so puffy? Jason says, I spent some time potty training more than I would like to remember. It's like working at an enema clinic for free. Yep, sure is. Sure is. Yo, they got the fiber. They got the fiber. They got the fiber. They got the fiber. I understand, my dude. I do. I'm on your team. I'm on your side. I'm on your team. You gotta believe me this time. You gotta believe me. But at the same time, we must do what one must do. Okay. All right. So, all right. We got a little bit of info on the breastfeeding. We got a little info on the potty training. Cool. Let's go to I I want to say allowing your children to either be somebody else's company over their house or have company at their house. But what I'm really interested in asking is, or interested in knowing is, you know what, let's do this. Are most of y'all parents who take your kids everywhere, you to pick up and drop off parent, pick up, drop up, drop off, pick up, drop off, pick up? Or are you the type of parents that taught your children how to ride buses and trains on their own? And this is an important thing, because if you so much as buy your kids a skateboard or a bicycle, you are giving them a certain level of independence. And that's something that you have to take into consideration. They can get away for a while. They can take your eyes off of them for a while. Shout out to the people who lived on I'm sorry. Shout out to the kids who lived on my block that could only ride their bike on the block. Up and down the street. Up and down the street. Yo, can I hold your bike? Can I just ride your bike for a minute? All right. It had to be very, very disheartening to not be able to go off the block with your bike, but you let somebody ride your bike and they all around the corner. They around the corner, up the street, at the park. You said that they could ride your bike. You never said how far. They done went everywhere and showed off your bike like it was their bike. And ain't a damn thing you can do about it. So, what up, Jean Ray? So when it comes to teaching your children how to, use public transportation, what's the appropriate age? Now, I notice a lot of parents drop off and pick up their kids nowadays. Drop off, pick up. I'm like, yo. Even though I think a lot of this modern parenting is a little bit shitty, but they some picking up, dropping off parents these days. Between parents and Uber, these kids don't know how to go nowhere by themselves. A lot of them. Not all of them. Not all of them. But a lot of them. So what do y'all think is what's the appropriate age to teach your children how to travel on their own? Whether it's public transportation or whatever. What y'all say? What say y'all? And if you don't believe in teaching your kids how to get on public transportation or whatever, I mean, you can say that. I ain't mad at you. To each his own. Them's your kids. Them's your kids. Marvina says it helps when daddy reinforces potty training, not just mommy. I agree. Malu says, Marvina, what's that? Marvina, because it always helps to be both father and mom taking care of them babies. Sadly, it just don't always end like that, though. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Malu also says, I don't want them to be able to travel by themselves, but this world can be a cruel place. So I'll put more time and effort into the traveling part. I'm a chicken mom in some situations. Absolutely 100. Okay. Your truth is your truth. Marvina says, I agree, Malu. Mine helped, but so many didn't, and they were right there in the home. Jason says, we talked about that before the kids
who always get dropped off and picked up. I get it in terms of parents' fears, but kids need to learn some independence early in life while you can assist them. I 100% agree with that. And as far as I'm concerned, issues of trust have to come into the conversation. How much do you trust your kids to be out there in the world? Because we can't just, and don't take this the wrong way. But whenever I hear, parents saying how bad it is out here and how things ain't the same as when we grew up and, how dangerous, it is out here. These kids can get snatched up and blah, blah, blah. Well, there was never a time when that couldn't happen. And there was never a time when it didn't happen. But there are certain things that you can teach your children that will help in preventing that from ever happening to your children. There are no guarantees in life, but there are things that you can do to help it along. All right, so okay. When I hear parents talk about how bad it is out here, it almost reminds me, or it makes me think about how you're dealing with a woman or a man who doesn't trust you. And they'll say, "Oh no, I trust you. I don't trust everybody else out there. So I trust you, but I don't trust your ex. I trust you, but I don't trust your coworkers. I trust you, but I don't trust the clubs or the supermarket or the laundromat, or I don't trust the people in those places." That's kind of what it reminds me of. It's reminiscent of that for me. Let me see. Shirley Cheryl says, "Well, I was a hard one to let go. I dropped off and never left until they got out of the elementary, and then I taught them to travel to high school." Well, that's not that bad. Shit, I know people who ain't even with the high school, like, nope. Drop off and kids don't know how to take a bus. They don't know nothing about it. Ain't never held a token in their hand. No TransPass, no nothing. The only mode of transportation that they know is mommy. Now, I noticed the fathers ain't playing that shit. Most fathers ain't playing that shit. Moms will find time to be dropping off and picking up. Fathers be like, better ask your mom to do that shit. Other than that, it's a big world. It's a big world out here. You better find a way to get around it. That's what you need to do. Marvina says, "I live in a rural area. Always pick up and drop off." Okay. If you have limited access to public transportation, I can understand. But what about other transportation, like the Greyhound, Amtrak, things like that? If you live in a rural area and your children want to travel to, like, maybe a city area to do some shopping or see some sights or go to shows and things like that, what happens then? How do you handle that? All right. Cheryl says, "I started working in their school for 15 years. Oh, you was one of them. You were NTA or teacher mom. Oh. Malu says, exactly. I trust my babies, but I don't trust the world. Mm-hmm. Okay, wait a minute. Malu also says, Jason, I'm teaching them early. I know that they know the roots and how to move, but for me to let them just because it's not going to happen. Okay. I told you the women are strict with that shit. They ain't. This shit crazy. Marina says we picked up and dropped off until they got their license. Well, speaking of their license, glad this is a good time to ask this question. At what age would you or should you allow your well, first of all, I have to take into consideration that not all parents drive. But for the ones who do, the licensed drivers out here, at what age would you allow your children to start driving your car? Or maybe even buy them a car? You know, because you can get your license, your driver's license at 14 in some states. You can be a fully licensed driver at 14 years old. Other states, like in Pennsylvania, you can have your learner's permit at 15, but you can't be a licensed driver until you're 16 years old. So what did we used to do back in the day? We drove with just a learner's permit. That's what we did back in the day. Jon Snow says, sir, you look like a gangster. Well, thank you very much. But nobody's going to get hurt on this show. I won't shoot, stab, push around, smack up, punch. Nobody gets hurt. No gangster, no G activity on this show. Jason says, my mom would always say that I trust you, but I don't trust the streets, or I don't trust those people, or I don't trust your badass cousin. Badass cousins. Oh, them. Yeah. My badass cousins. Yeah. Oh, Marvina said the bus don't come here at all. Well, damn. Shirley Cheryl says it took me a while to trust because I had a situation with a neighbor who claimed my children was hers. We actually went to court with that crazy. What? Damn. Tried to claim your kids? Well. Okay. Shirley Cheryl says just by watching on birthday parties, she knew their birth dates and ages. This is crazy. That's too much. Marvina says we got them beaters. Beaters? At 16. Here kids learn to drive very early on country roads. What are beaters? What are beaters? What's that? That's some down south stuff? I don't know about that. What's that? What that? Malu says, Marvin, in the country, you can drive from the age of 5. Oh, God. Well, oh, okay. You said old cars. Okay. I got you. Jon Snow says, I'm 21, wasting my last 3 years and the worst habits, you know, and it has affected me a lot. I'm changing myself. I need study fucking hard as hell. I will lock in. Bless me. Pray for me, everybody. All right, you got it. You got it. Okay. All right. Jason says, I'm all about getting kids on the road at 16, but not without me until they can drive well enough to drive alone, and then only short distances for a while. I want them proficient by 18. That sounds good. It do. It sounds good. Now, I taught my daughter to drive when she was like, let's see, it was a few years ago. We're going to call it 16. She's 19. I think that was in 2022. So I taught her to drive at 15 and 16. And she's still not ready for the streets because nobody in her home drives. I mean, you know, driving is one of those things that you have to have practice at. It's not really like riding a bike. If you haven't driven a lot, you should never be in a car by yourself, driving by yourself. Them turns, you gonna fuck up shit. You gonna be hitting shit, you know. And that probably doesn't apply to everybody because some people are probably just naturally gifted at navigating a car. But yeah. Jon Snow says, oh, he erased it. Okay. Okay, cool. Damn, Marvina says, we don't have that Uber taxi, nothing. Damn. You gotta call a horse and buggy? You gotta call somebody on a four-wheeler? An ATV? A snowmobile? Okay. All right. I ain't mad at it. I mean, the country is the country. Thing is, you can be from the country and still not even be from the South. You know, they got country everywhere. The South is the South. The sad is the sad. Okay. Okay. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about kids having a key to the crib. You know, just kids having keys to the crib. And evidently, that's a point of contention with a lot of parents. Like, nah, you don't need no keys to the crib. You get in this crib by knocking on the door or somebody's home. So if the door is unlocked, you know it's cool to come in. If it's locked, you knock, ring the bell, call before you come. Should have been home already. It is what it is. I get it. I get it. Yeah, good stuff. Good going, Jon Snow. But yeah, so we talk about giving kids a key to the house. We also need to talk about kids being able to be at home by themselves. Because that's an issue with some parents. Some parents don't want their kids at home by themselves. Now, sometimes children have to be home by themselves but not necessarily all by themselves. Sometimes they're there are multiple children in the house at the same time. But let's say you don't have multiple children. Maybe you are the parent of an only child. But you got to work. You got to go ahead and, do things in your career where you're not able to be home all the time. So is it like, do you trust your children? Do you trust your child enough to be home by themselves? Do you trust that they won't get into some kind of trouble? Do you trust that they won't have people in the crib that will be messing up things, taking things, disrupting things, acting a fool? So at what age can kids be home by themselves? And this is a relevant question because sometimes some kids, like for those of y'all who have multiple children, you might need the oldest to help take care of the younger ones while you go to work or while you go to the store or whatever. So although they're not home all by themselves, they are at home and in charge. What up, Wes? What's good? How you feeling? Let me see. Marvina says, see, most folks didn't lock their doors here until about 10 years ago. John Snow says, what is your opinion on like every country turning on less globalization, like limiting foreign students? Isn't it bad? What will the world look like if the world goes like this for 20 years? I don't think you have to worry about that too much. What you're asking about is the nationalism that a lot of countries are practicing in their native lands. Blaming foreigners for everything. Blaming the influx of immigrants or migrants. They're the problem, not us. We're good. They're bad. Well, I know that a lot of migrants bring a positive swing to the economy. They work, they pay taxes, they open businesses. I hate when all stuff goes down to the bottom. As a matter of fact, hold on. Oh no, I can just do this. All right. This is what happens when you put too many vegetables in the blender and not enough water. Well, yeah, but doesn't it have juicing capabilities? Well, evidently no. And even with juicing, the solids have to go somewhere. Now I watered it down too much. It tastes terrible. That was ass. Wow. Malu says, I think we should help, love, open, and mix. Sounds good. John says, what's the best piece of advice you ever got? And if you have to tell anybody. All right. So, all right, so check it out. Hold on. Make sure we straight over this side. I think we are. All right. I'm about to have to get up anyway. All right. Made a little messy mess. A little messy mess over here. Okay. Okay, Shirley Cheryl says, I know the answers change dramatically when it comes to working families, non-working families, and one parent, two parent families. True. True. It has to change in that regard. Like, there's no way around it. It has to change in that regard. I know, for me, the question really becomes, and we have to take into consideration how well we know our children, how well we know that we've taught them certain things. Have we gone through drills? Have we practiced more than just verbally telling them what to do? Have we shown them? Like, if you can't teach anybody how to catch public transportation by just giving them a bus schedule and telling them to go for theirs. You gotta ride the buses or the trains with them so they can visually see the way to go. So in the commission of you physically showing them how to do this, you can trust that they know exactly what they're doing because you have seen them do it right in front of you. So, if you can instill in them not to get all super friendly with everybody who speaks to you. Maybe there's some people that you shouldn't even speak to, but maybe there's another way to communicate with your body language, to whereas, you can avoid an altercation or dissension, or, you can rock your indifference. So yeah. Allowing your child to travel on their own, or at least have access to it or the ability to do it. Yeah, a lot of parents are going to disagree on what age that should be done. But I doubt if we disagree that it should be done at all. But there is some evidence to support that some people don't think that it should be done at all. And they ain't doing it. They ain't doing it. They said no. All right. So even though there are only 13 votes on the poll question, what I can do is take the questions from the poll. Now, the poll question is, what do parents try to put off the longest when it comes to their kids? So let's talk about it. Oh, my goodness. Now allergies want to kick in. God damn it. Not now. My nose is like, yeah, no, now. What do parents try to put off the longest when it comes to their kids? Now, dating and conversations about sex. And like I was saying earlier, when it comes to dating, regardless of what age you think is appropriate, you have to make sure that you understand what dating is going to mean in terms of what your children are going to be doing. So if you say, well, all right, you can start dating at age of 14, 15, 16, 17, or whatever. You still have to be cognizant of what you're saying that they can do as far as dating is concerned, because you may not know what dating means to your children versus what you want it to mean for yourself. Yeah, I mean, you have to you have to be on the same page with your children to know what dating means, because you may be telling your children by telling them that it's okay for them to date, you may be telling them that it's okay to have sex. But that's something that you have to make sure that you're comfortable with. Not saying that you are going to encourage your children to have sex, but you have to understand that you're going to factor that into the equation while they are dating. While they're dating. And that can have a big effect on how far you go with the allowance of the dating. This might not be for you, Chief. Dating might not be for you. Second thought, maybe it's not a good idea if you date. No dating for you. No. Shirley Cheryl says, I was proud to know my children look, listen, and learn. We did fire drills, and when a fire actually came about, they did protocol. That's what's up. That's a good look. Okay. So for this reason, parents might try to put off the whole dating and conversations about sex. And remember, we're not just talking about sex in terms of the opposite sex. You may have to have a conversation with your children as far as what their sexual orientation is. It's something that you have to take a strong look at with the youth of today. They're not all assumed to be straight like we was when I was growing up. And many of them aren't. Many of them aren't. You might not be, your young parental ears might not be ready to hear that John likes Dave, or that Christine likes Sarah. You might not be ready. You might not be ready. And just like if your child is straight, just because they are gay doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be sexually active. Doesn't mean that. It means that that's their preference. That's what they choose. That's what they like. That's what they're attracted to. Would you rather not know and get blindsided or surprised at Thanksgiving when they invite their partner over? Or would you rather go ahead and rip the bandage? Rip the bandage. Ah! All right. Okay. All right. 23% said traveling alone or being home alone. Well, there you have it. You know, it's a big deal. And a lot of parents might try to put off the whole traveling or being home by themselves. Like, nah. They don't need to be home by them. You don't need to be home by yourself ever. There needs to be an adult on with eyes on you at all times. Unless and until you are at the point where you can fly on your own, and it ain't coming no time soon. Mm. Okay. Malu says, our kids are individuals just like us. We love them regardless, but no one needs to rush sexual experience. But we have to teach them about emotional and physical protection. That's true. Emotional and physical protection. That's true. Just understand that along with that protection, you're protecting against unwanted pregnancy and STDs or STIs as they have rebranded them. Shirley Cheryl says, believe it or not, my hardest was having them leave the nest. Shoot. That's not hard to believe at all. A lot of women struggle with that these days. A lot. Especially women that's scared of the dark. Scared to go in the basement. Yo, black women be having some quirky shit going on, man. But yeah, leaving the nest, yeah. Because some people are so entrenched into their maternal instincts that the kids leaving the house is like the end of an era. Like, who I'm gonna take care of now? I don't want to take care of myself. Why don't you just bring your clothes over at least once a week so we can wash them together? Jason says, navigating dating and sex conversations and sexual orientation conversations are tough because you know what it was like to be their age, and that can cause concerns if you're me. It is. And that's whether you were wild and out there sexually free or whether you were conservative. You know, there's a likelihood that at some point something or somebody broke you out of your shell, and it ain't always pretty. It ain't all. You see the way that a bird breaks himself out of the egg shell. You know what I mean? He got to punch his way out. Jason says, but I didn't have the sexual orientation question. That would be something I might struggle with and want to postpone. And that's understandable. Shirley Shaw says, LOL, I ain't scared of the dark though. Cool. Marvina says, one of our children is bisexual. We never know who is coming to dinner. Never? But damn. Shit. Malu says, Jason, absolutely terrifying. Terrifying. I get you. That's why we have to take those conversations to break the generational curse. Generational curse. We're there. Okay. Yeah, some parents just can't bear to hear it. You know, they can't deal. Some parents can't deal. They can't deal with it. They can't deal with, the changing tides, the changing of the guard. Like, why can't things be like the way that they were when I grew up? So yeah, having this access it can be an eye-opening experience, for a lot of parents. And as children learn and as they grow, parents have to do the same thing. It's a must. It's not an option. We all got to learn. We all got to grow. Okay. All right, we already did access to a car. Staying out late and handling money. Now, this is a different question because not even all right. All right. If you grew up with a strict parent, then you probably didn't go to a lot of parties, or even if you were allowed to go to the party, maybe you weren't allowed to stay for a long time. But there were plenty of teenagers that had pretty decent parents, but they were still able to, they were allowed to hang out for a while. The way that it used to be done is you would hang out with an older cousin or a cousin around your age or whatever, and both of y'all would have the excuse to be out with each other. Normally, that's how it went. You had to have an alibi and an ally. But when it comes to your children staying out late, for your children, if they stay out late, that means that drop off and pick up crew probably is probably on the back burner. And how late is late? For some people, for their kids, 9 or 10 o'clock might be late. 10 or 11 o'clock might be late. But I know I went to high school with cats that would tell me they ain't, they was out all night long and they so tired and they ain't get no sleep. And, I don't know what the hell they was out doing. But that was their claim. Yeah, I didn't get home until 3. Shit like that. I remember my man in American history, he used to always be like, man, I'm so tired. I ain't get home till 2, 3 in the morning. And I used to be like, damn, fuck is you doing out 2, 3 in the morning? We was the same age. But evidently his parents let him stay out late. I don't know his deal. I didn't know his deal. Hold on. Okay. Marvina says, my kids have always dropped by with friends and dates. So it has been an experience with that child. I understand. Malu says, my son said, Mom, you have to let the bird fly. Oh, you have to let the bird fly from the nest. I said, yes, absolutely. But if it's done too early, the bird will just hit the road and get crushed by a car. This is so morbid. Malu says, my son said, Mom, but you have to let the bird fly. Wait. I'm sorry. She said, my kids can stay out late when they move from home or are able to vote. Well, yeah. And I'm sure it depends on how late is late. Their late might not be your late. Your late absolutely probably doesn't coincide with what they think late is or should be. But handling money, how about that? I don't know. Handling money, like giving your children, cash. Some parents don't do that. None of you gets no cash. Whatever you want to buy, I'll buy it. You just show me where to go get it. You can come with me if you want to. But nah, you ain't handling no money. Somebody mess around, take the money out of your hands. Or, it used to be a good practice for parents to get you a bank account. So you can learn to save money. How'd that work out for y'all? How'd that work out? Okay. All right. Marvina says they had to have their own job at 16. I like that. They had to have their own job at age 16. Now, I didn't even put that on the list because so little teenagers work these days, They don't work. And parents don't encourage them to work or, in many instances, want them to work. It's not what they want for their kids. Now, everybody's children is going to have to learn how to handle money at some point in their lives. And I think kids should start having their own money and learning how to save their money when the piggy bank first got introduced. A coin here, a coin there. Little piggy bank. Big ones. A big warthog piggy bank. But yeah, handling their own money. We good? Handling their own money. At what age should kids start doing that? What age did you start doing it? What age did you start handling your own money? Yes. What say you? What y'all got? What age did you start handling your own money? All right, Malu says, I gave them job opportunities at home so they could start earning early. From the time they could spend money, they should learn about it at age 5. Not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. So you were their source of income. They did their chores. You broke them off a little something. They saved their money. That money is circulating through the family. That dollar doesn't leave this family. I ain't mad at that. Jason says, losing money and wasting money as a kid and even having it taken by somebody was a good learning experience for me. It taught me to protect it and value it differently on a deep level. Yeah. Having your money taken away from you. You know what? I was in the store the other day and I lost $20 and I couldn't figure out. I had the $20 and I fumbled the $20. But I'm like, man, to the $20. And I couldn't figure it out. It was like I had a lapse. It was like I had a lapse of not a lapse of judgment. It's like I had a lapse of Alzheimer's. I got all of the money except for the $20, and the $20 was on top. I didn't pay for my food with the $20. I paid for the food with fives. I'm like, what happened to the 20? I didn't get change. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I literally don't know what happened. It's like the biggest mystery right now. I don't know where to go with it. Captain DK. Yeah, that's what we're going to call you. Captain DK. Pause. Pause. All right. Okay. Okay. Well, there's still other things that I didn't put on the list that parents put off or try to put off until forever. I mean, this list can go on and 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 on. On and on. Okay, so what's up, Captain DK? Tonight we're talking about how much access should kids have. So we're talking about how soon and how much should you put your kids on the road to independence. And we're also answering the question that we're asking. At least I am. At least I am. Jason said that $20 you lost is taunting you from the land of the lost. I feel you. It's just dumb. Like, I couldn't figure it out. I don't carry anywhere near the amount of cash on me like I used to. So every cent of the cash that I carry on me, it means something. Like, I'm like, now I can't get a car wash. Literally. Because the car wash I go to are run by the Mexicans and not the Africans, so I can't use my card. What a bummer. What a bummer. What do I think about the tariffs? Tariffs suck. Tariffs suck. MAGA sucks. Donald Trump sucks. If I leave anybody else out, blame it to my head, not my heart. You know, Laura Loomer, Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth, Kash Patel, JD Vance. To hell with all of yous. But it's all good though. It's all good. Tis. But yeah, we're talking about how much access should kids have. How much are you comfortable with them having? And once again, like I said, all kids are different. They're not all the same. They're not all the same. So we talk about what age should your child be able to stay out late? Well, when they go to college, they're not going to ask for your permission anymore. They go to college, they're not going to ask for your permission anymore. They can do whatever they want to do. Damn. When did I make that thing? I know it was tonight. Damn it. Oh. I can get it out. Or at least neutralize it for the second. All right. Nah, that ain't gonna do it. We gotta get the cleaning pin for that. Spot cleaning. It's all good though. Okay. But yeah. Jesus says it happens. Losing cash, it still hurts a little bit every time. It does. It does. It does. It sucks. I still like cash. I like cash more than cards. I really do. That card shit is the devil. Malu says, I don't care about money. Money is a crazy product built on illusion. But I'll do what I got to do. Yeah, you certainly will. Marvina says, if they earn their own money, they can go to the movies, go out to eat with friends. They value money more. Okay. Malu says, I want to eat without going to jail. I have to work the money in what is already work the money in what is already created. But do I like it? Hell to the no. I get it. I totally 100% get it. You know, I mean, these are just some of the issues that we have to deal with. Yeah, but I lost the $20 and it didn't. You know, I was really expecting it to show up. I was looking at it. I was trying to reach it and find it in the corners of my pocket. It was like, no, I'm not there. And no, you didn't drop it. We don't know. You know, we don't know what happened to it. All we know is that it's not here and it's not coming back. Holla back. I'm like, rats. Yeah. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. Yeah. Other things that parents put off, you know, the whole moving out thing. You know, some parents they ain't ready. Now you can stay here till you get married. As a matter of fact, if you get married, you can live here for a little while till y'all get on your feet. Yeah. Yeah, the empty nest thing is a real thing. The empty nest syndrome. Well, when it comes to that, parents have to reconcile with their own feelings of loneliness. You know, I don't think that the empty nest theory or the empty nest syndrome would be so bad, except for a lot of parents are single parents. So there's no one there to lean on. It's like somebody telling you that your work is finished here. And you like, nah, it ain't finished here. Got a lot of work left. And you're like, no, you don't. And you won't. Because you can't. And you ain't. Yeah. Yeah. The empty nest syndrome. So some parents, you know, will bend over backwards or fight tooth and nail for their kids not to go nowhere. Some parents move in with their kids. This is real shit. There are plenty of parents that find a way to go wherever their kids go. The kids move down Atlanta. I'm moving down Atlanta. Everybody to Atlanta. Everybody talking about, let's go straight to the A. Let's go straight to the A. Let's go straight to the A. Yeah. But everybody ain't ready for that. Not everyone's ready for that. Hold on. Yeah. But that empty nest thing is a real thing, and there are plenty of parents that try not to let their kids go anywhere. Oh. All right. Okay. Malu says, go out, have fun, get a spa day. There are plenty of opportunities. That ain't what they want to do. They want to chill with the kids. They want to chill with them. Malu says, Marvina Bigby says, the house goes silent. Yes, it does. Start hearing them creaky sounds in the older crib, too. Malu says, travel to Hawaii. They can call me if they need me to be. I'll be there 100. But I'm not going to sit around and grow old without the taste of life. And that's a good way to look at things, and that's a good way to handle your well, everybody doesn't experience the empty nest syndrome. Not everybody experiences that. But for the ones who do, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. You know, because it's almost like you're a parent and your assignment has run out. You ain't feeling that. You put me out the pasture yet. Don't retire me. I'm not done. Still got a little left in the tank. Don't retire me. All right, y'all. This is what we're going to do. Shoot, some parents go as far as even making the suggestion about who they kids should marry. Real shit. Some do. They actually want to be the one who decides at what age and what person that they should marry. As ridiculous as it sounds to a person who's independent, you know, there's more to those popular around the world arranged marriages than meets the eye. It's a real thing. It is a real thing. All right, y'all. Look, we're going to do these birthday shout outs and then we're going to get on up out of here. I feel like we've had some moments. We've had a good time here. So what we going to do? I said, what we going to do? We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious September 23rd, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box. Stephanie Moore, happy birthday to you. And also Tony Trower, happy birthday. And Nash Bryant, Kiana Harris, Xanthia Austin, Nika Alphonse, Laura Spencer, Ebony Marini. Yeah. And last but not least, my girl, Janet Rodriguez. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious September 23rd, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out. Rock on to do the damn, the rock out. Rock on to do the damn rock out. Rock on to do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, Well, as parents, if you're a parent, that means that you have children, and if you have children, that means that you are the parent of a child, and you are a child once before, and somebody was a parent of you. Now, there are many times with a lot of us where our parenting style mimics the ones that we were brought up with, if we respected what they did and we were happy with the results. And sometimes it just happens by proxy. Sometimes it just happens by default. Sometimes we just don't know any better. But nonetheless, our children will develop the way that we guide them. And we have to always keep that in mind. Our children will develop in the way that we guide them. So whether we start them out on an early path or fast track them, or whether we try to delay it and spoon feed them and just sprinkle a little bird seed here and there and let them peck away, they are going to do what they are going to do. And we have to make sure that we are comfortable with what we are doing, what we have taught them, how we have brought them up, and where we are going to go after and along with them. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all, and love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night, 2 a.m. in the morning, because that's how we do. So make sure y'all come on through. I'd appreciate the time I see you. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. See y'all tomorrow night. I hope y'all enjoy listening to the show as much as I enjoy broadcasting it. Peace to all of each and every last one of y'all. Thank you so much. Peace.